All over the world, young women work with fertility centers to help infertile couples have children. 18,000 donor egg cycles are performed in the United States each year. Medically, the donors experience the same risks as infertility patients going through in vitro fertilization and are compensated for their time, effort, and assumed risk. Egg donation is an extremely important treatment option for recipient couples. It is often the last hope for the prospective mother to have a pregnancy and the prospective father to have a genetic link to their child. Shady Grove Fertility is the largest fertility clinic in the United States. Performing 800 donor cycles each year, it is also the largest donor egg program in the country. Before women are admitted into the program, they must go through an extensive pre-screening process. Recipients then go through a database to select their donor. Once a donor is selected, they go through a cycle in which their ovaries are stimulated to produce the eggs, and then go through a minor surgery for the egg retrieval. After the eggs are retrieved, they are fertilized in the lab and prepared for an embryo transfer. 2 weeks later, the recipient will find out whether she is pregnant. We will take you inside the egg donation program at Shady Grove to explore the experiences of donors and recipients.
One of my older cousins had trouble with infertility, so she went through the process and got pregnant with a donor egg. So before that I had never even heard of the process or knew it existed. So when I heard about that, I got interested in it and started looking it up a bit online, and that kind of sparked the interest.
Any healthy woman between the ages of 21 and 32 may initially be considered for egg donation. However, before a donor is admitted into the program, they must pass a rigorous screening process. Candidates go through an extensive psychological assessment, and medically they are tested for their potential fertility and genetically transmitted diseases. The pre-screening process is very extensive, and only a select few ever become donors.
We get about 7,000 applicants a year, and we only accept about 3% of the applicants. So 97% of the women that apply are not going to qualify.
So you do kind of like a pre-screening application online, and it's really short, just a couple questions, and then if you pass that, they let you do their full application, which is pretty intensive. It took probably 2 or 3 hours to do. Goes through complete family history, so I was on the phone with my mom, asking about cousins and aunts and uncles who they had any medical problems. So that took a long time. Once that went through, within about a week, they called me back and told me that I passed that. Then I came in for some blood work, and then I did donor day, which is a couple hours.
Once a donor passes pre-screening, they become a part of the donor database. The donor database is made available for recipients to select donors and includes childhood photographs, as well as extensive information about the donor physically, personally, and medically.
You want to look at everyone, because even though looks is one portion, it's only one portion. So we spent a lot of time, we looked at education, we looked at, there a lot of time on their abilities. If you remember, we read all the personal statements. I think the personal statements for us was one of the key factors. It definitely was the tipping point.
You had to look through it a couple times before you're like, oh, yep, this is great, I like this, or you had it took a while. I must have went on the site, oh God, I don't know how many times.
When we were ready to do it, the doctor had said to us, don't try to find the perfect donor, because you might have to go through this many times. You won't necessarily get lucky the first time. So we logged on and just looked at our curiosity 1 or 2 times, and then the 3rd or 4th time we logged on, it was pretty quick. We saw the profile of a donor that really appealed to us immediately. And we were just getting ready to go on a honeymoon, and we clicked on it and said, let's try it. Why not? I might have to do this many times. And the next day we were matched to her.
When donors have been admitted into the program, they are put on birth control. Once they are selected, the recipients order the stimulation medication on the behalf of the donor and begin taking birth control as well to time their cycle to the donors.
This would be my 4th time, and it's been a really good experience so far.
I mean, I haven't had any side effects of any kind. Hasn't really been painful to me, even after the surgery. This Thursday, I did the Lupron shot, which is this trigger shot, at 9:45 at night. And today's Saturday, and I have the surgery, or the egg retrieval being done at 9:45 in the morning.
I'm just going to get your numbers here, and then we'll go over all your paperwork, talk about the flow of the day. So Rod's going to come in and start your IV. He's our anesthetist. He'll ask you a couple questions, and then we'll take you in right around your trigger time, where we'll keep checking back with you to see how you're doing. Okay? Any questions?
The staff's been great. They're so friendly, and they definitely don't make you feel like you're just a nobody or that you're being used in any way. You're just as important as anyone else they treat. They've never pressured me to do it. If I've come back because I've wanted to.
Donors are not compensated for their eggs. They are paid for their time, effort, and assumed risk. While compensation may play a factor, most donors are also strongly motivated by the opportunity to help an infertile couple.
I didn't even know that you can get paid when I did it the first time. And I was just like, oh, because to me donation means you're donating, not necessarily because you're gonna get paid.
We have found that donors that want to be a donor for altruistic reasons, those are really the only donors that are going to make it through the process.
After the egg retrieval, the donor has completed their cycle, and the next step is the embryo transfer. After the embryo transfer, the recipient goes through a period known as the 2-week wait, and then they will find out whether or not they are pregnant.
It was unbelievable, first of all, to hear the words that not only are you pregnant, but this really looks like it's a viable pregnancy. The beta looks good. It was an answered prayer.
For us has meant opportunities that we didn't think we had, has given us gave us hope and produced Lila. So it's been an incredibly rewarding and positive experience for us, because it resulted in us being able to have a family of our own and a child.